Hi, I'm Kristen Mann, and this is my set of innovations for History Poli-Sci 4397, 5397, Teaching Applications in History and Social Studies. This course is offered in three modalities as of last fall: face-to-face, which was about 24% of the students; asynchronous online, which was about 26%, and synchronous online, which was also about 26%. And the rest of the students were flexible. They moved back and forth between in-person and one of the online formats. And you can see that the only other times I've tried it to mix the face-to-face and online students were in 2017 when I had a pretty rough go of it, and then in 2020 because of the pandemic. And so this year, I finally felt like I did a good job handling all of those modalities with the innovations I'm about to show you. First of all, I made sure that every student did a weekly summary, and I asked these three questions. What key term or concept do you think was important to this week's content, and why is it significant? Discuss two important takeaways that you learned this week related to the content and skills we covered in the readings or during class. And then from this week's content or tasks, what is something that you have a question about or that is still fuzzy? And this helped me make sure that everyone was keeping on pace and that they were understanding the major content and skills I was trying to get across. It also made sure that I had direct communication with each student each week, and gave them a specific chance to ask questions. Another thing I did was to make sure that in this class, every student had the opportunity to attend a live session to practice their teaching and to get feedback on the major assignments. And this was really important to connect with those asynchronous students who weren't able to make the designated class time, which was a 3-hour Monday night block. So I took the 3-hour Monday night block and I made that an hour and a half. And then I had 4 small group meetings, and some of them were during the day and some of them were at night, so that everyone was able to attend. And I determined the small group meeting times by a survey at the start of class, and they could switch small groups each week depending on their schedule. I also implemented for one of the major assignments for the course, a choice board, which is something that's used by K-12 teachers quite a bit, and I wanted to model that for my students. I took the 4 course objectives, and then I brainstormed with the students a list of ways that they might show proficiency in all of these objectives. And then we put together rubrics for scoring each of those potential assignments. And then students could choose the way that they were most comfortable with showing proficiency in each of the course objectives. And they had this from the start of class so they could make strategic decisions about what they wanted to do. I also added an ungrading focus on revision and mastery. And this is where you don't really determine grades all the way along. They're not the big focus. Instead, you're focusing on mastering those objectives. So you give students lots of chances to submit and receive feedback, and then to revise before a finished product is graded at the end of the semester. So I assigned drafts in Google Classroom. They got peer feedback. I commented via Google Docs, and students revised and resubmitted. It might have seemed like a lot of work, but if I wasn't doing it with too many assignments, then that was easier. And it was much easier for me to give oral feedback in those small groups and written feedback electronically than it was to meet with every student one-on-one, for example. You can see here that students' grades improved when they implemented these changes. A's the dark green, B's the light green, C is the yellow, and gray means they had to take the class again. And here's how I plan to transfer these to other classes. I'm implementing most of these policies in all of my other classes, and so far, so good.